can't get them out of my head. Words, these words you said to me, yeah, stop my heart barely beating, and now I'm stuck on repeat. I can't sleep through this madness. Tame the fire, suffer to live in the ashes, in the ashes. And that's what happens for you.
What is up, my Hans family, and welcome back to my channel for this winter witch lady. I don't quite know what she is. She has some homemade armor, some frostbite 'cause it's cold as shit, and some battle scars. She's pretty metal. She's pretty fucking metal. Thank you so much for watching, and please hit subscribe if you haven't already. All product details will be listed down below. Let's do it. First off, we're going to be starting with the headpiece and the shoulder, our little armor that we made. I pretty much grabbed all of the foliage pieces at Michael's, but any craft store will obviously have them, and I even utilized some twigs in my backyard and just took those and used those. I got this nest with these eggs, thought it was really cute and icy looking, and I want to go for more of a realistic approach for this instead of like a icy queen blues and silvers. I want to do it like foresty, so I'm taking some of those twigs and I'm gluing them to the back of the nest just with some hot glue so that those will stick up and outwards, especially when facing it over to the front. Added a couple little pine cones and some pine needles as well, just to give a little more interest to the look, and these pine needles were awesome because they had some fake snow look into it, so perfect for our little icy lady. It's always good to start with a focal point, which this one is the nest, and then work from there. I'm adding more twigs and more of the little leaves here and there throughout it, but keeping the nest the focal point. So if you guys were around last year, you probably saw my Ice Queen tutorial where I made a hot glue icicle crown. I'm using that same method, just making some icicles on a plate out of hot glue, just some really small ones. We're going to stick it off of the headpiece. You can layer the glue by letting the first layer dry and bringing it to a point, peel those off, and then I'm gluing it to the bottom of the nest. Make sure to fit it on your head first to see exactly where the icicles would be going downwards because you don't want them sticking out at any weird angles. You can attach some bobby pins or glue some wire on the bottom, but I just use bobby pins with the nest. It's pretty easy peasy. For the start of the chest piece that I got going on off of the shoulder, this is more of like a chest plate looking thing. I'm just sticking some twigs together, keeping them mainly in the same fashion of shape and size, and we're going to put that to the side because I was like, I don't even know what I'm using this for yet. Tinfoil is a great base when you are making larger items, and I'm using this for the shoulder pad itself, and I did measure it on my shoulder to make sure it would actually fit onto my shoulder properly, which I would definitely suggest, and just compact the tinfoil as tight as you can to get a nice little shoulder pad. Now that that's all together, I would definitely suggest using felt for this step, but I didn't have any, so I just used floral tape, which is fine, but it's really just to cover up most of the silver. You don't have to cover up all of it because we'll use fake snow and twigs and all that later, but I just wanted the general part of the silver covered with floral tape. When doing these, I wanted it to look homemade. I wanted it to look like our little warrior princess lady, if that's what she is. I don't even know what she is still. Just grabbed all of this stuff and put it together herself. So I just got, again, some of this foliage from Michael's, and I'm putting some of the leaves on the outside because the inside I want to leave empty for more of that focal point like we were talking about for the headpiece, and just gluing on some more of the twigs to cover up a lot of the empty space. I like to break them up and cover up the larger areas with flat ones, and then the more interesting, thinner pieces that I found of the twigs, I wanted to use for volume. So I would glue just the base right against it and have them sticking forward and sticking out different directions because it really does give it for an interesting look. For any remaining space, I just dropped some hot glue down and threw fake snow all over that shit. I didn't do this step first just because I want all of the twigs to stick onto the actual base better. They don't stick very good onto the fake snow. Finish off with your little focal point, which mine was a big old snow-covered pine cone and a couple pine needles and such. Now just glue your makeshift chest plate onto your shoulder and put it up to your body first so that the chest plate will lay nicely onto your chest. You don't want it sticking out any weird way. Add a couple twigs so that the two pieces are a little more cohesive together, and I added fake snow just like I did before. To secure it around my shoulder, I glued a little bit of elastic fabric around each side so that I could just stick my arm right in and it would sit perfectly onto my shoulder. On to the makeup. Okay, first we gotta talk about my eyebrows. I was on Twitch the other night with Daniel and some of you guys, and I was dared to shave off some of my brows, and this is the way Daniel shaved them. One is much shorter than the other, and I really don't care to even them out, but you know what? Fuck it. This is just my brows. We're just gonna deal with it. I cover them up all the time anyways. So with said brows, wimpy brows covered, I'm mixing a little bit of white cream paint and a very, very pale foundation together to get this pretty much white foundation color, but just a little tad of off-white. Buffing that into my skin, all over my face, and onto my chest. Then just powdering it down with a little bit of Laura Mercier translucent powder, which will give it a little bit more of a neutral skin tone. Contouring now with a mix of Bedrock and Stealth from Makeup Geek. They're both just pretty much gray shadows. Bedrock has a little bit more of a brown to it. I'm using a fluffy brush to go a little higher than my cheekbones and pretend that my cheekbones are this high. So going under my new pretend cheekbones and bringing the contour down along my mouth because I love that hollowed out look. Our Lady is a frostbitten, windburnt little bitch, so to do so, I'm using some Sugarpill Love Plus, which is a red shadow, all over the nose, cheeks. I did add some onto the eyes just because I want her to have some sunken in red eyes and on the chin. And with a brush with a little bit of a stiffer bristle, I'm taking some purple eyeshadow and adding this right on top to look like there's some broken blood vessels right under the skin. With some white cream paint, this is from NYX, I'm just going in with her little markings, her battle scars I got going on. When I first started doing this, I didn't know exactly where I was going to go with it, but I just started from one part of my face and worked my way out. Using triangles and circle shapes, just start with one area and go from there with some organic little markings. Since we are moving down onto the chest too, we gotta have that cohesion all through. So I'm just contouring out my bones just a little bit and dirtying up my skin so it's not so perfect. I mean, she's a fucking winter witch running around in the forest. I don't think her skin would be pristine. Also, gotta make sure that your shoulder pad won't cover up any of the work that you are putting down. So kind of measure that on your body just a little bit too before you go too ham drawing and then realize that you're covering most of your work up. Here's where you can decide whether you want these to just be markings or you want them to be scars. I wanted mine to be scars, so I'm just still using those shadows that we used to contour with, and I'm going around the white just a little bit to make it look like the white part is raised forward, so naturally there would be a little bit of a shadow, especially underneath every little drawing we already put out. And you want to make it look jagged. You don't want these perfect ass lines, because scars, when they scar up, your skin is healing together. It's a little jagged, it's not perfect. Oh god, I had some fucking coffee. Holy shit. And back to the shading. Add some darker spots around the pieces because since the scar is jagged, the shading would also be a little jagged and have some darker spots and some lighter spots. Keeping it random will make it look a little more realistic. As our little skin starts to freeze, our veins would pop out a little more. You'd see them a bit, so I'm using a very, very thin brush and some blue eyeshadow just to draw a little bit of veins, keeping them super light. Darkening up any parts of my eyes and my cheeks that I want a little bit more with some red and black shadow, because your skin does start to turn black when you get too much frostbite. It's pretty fucking brutal. I then just decided I'm just gonna go straight up fucking smoky eye with this, and I added some dark brown shadow on my lash line and smoked that out. Keeping with more so erratic blending though, and adding even more black to my cheeks and nose. It's just like our scarring. It'd be pretty random and very messy looking and grungy and dirty. I previously made these lashes. They're just a cheap pair of lashes I got on Amazon, and I just glued some of the fake snow we used on our shoulder and head piece earlier onto them. But when you are doing this, please really glue the pieces to the lashes. You don't want any falling into your eye and irritating your eye. That could be real bad. Using more eyelash adhesive, just what I use to glue my eyelashes down, I put some glue around my eyes and my nose and various parts around my face just to add more of that fake snow, focusing on the eyes and the nose. So we want some ice tears and some ice boogies. For lipstick, though, maybe we wouldn't have the most beautiful lips with frostbite. I'm just going to go in with Makeup Geek's Shy lipstick. This is one of their new lipsticks. and it's a nice little mauve tone. Overlining my lips and kind of patting out the color so it's not a perfect line. Lightening the center with a little bit of white cream paint for an ombre effect. And our lips would be affected by the frostbite too, shoot. So I'm adding a little bit of black shadow right in the inner part of it, bringing that out to the outer corner, and adding some more snow on there for good measure too. Threw on my wig, and to adhere some of the snow to the wig itself, I used hairspray. Secure your little headpiece onto your head with either bobby pins or alligator clips, whatever you decided to go with. Slip into your shoulder, but to keep it in place really well, you might want to add some Pros-Aid, even though mine stayed on just fine. I noticed my little ear was showing, so I added red shadow to that too, because the second I go outside for a while in the cold, my ear gets as red as the devil's dick. So, definitely want to add that there. And that is the entire tutorial, you guys. I really hope you liked it, and thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and please follow me on Twitch. I stream on Tuesdays and Fridays, and I do some body paints that I don't bring to YouTube sometimes, so make sure to check that out. Let me know what you think down below. Oh shit. That is gonna clog up my shower tonight. Now it's time to... Okay, I forgot that it's bobby pinned. Oh, nope, still bobby pinned. Oh, and stuck in my shoulder. Okay, we're just gonna let it drop. Just gonna let it drop. Boom. I want to tell you guys in person, I love the fuck out of you. Okay, bye.